Hey, and happy Monday. We are off to another good start. I've got a few from last week I want to update you on. Um, these guys in Horry and Georgetown have just been doing a tremendous job of, I know it's wearing the police quite thin, and we have to bring those guys in for trials. But the trials have been successful, and the amounts of time that the judges have been giving them has been really great. Last week we tried 2 trials in 1 week, and we sometimes can do that when we have a real quick trial, like it was an armed robbery and then followed up by a drug case. The armed robbery took a day and a half, the drug case took a day and a half, and by Thursday we were through with the trials. But we, it's a tax on the jury, it's a tax on the police, but anyway, we got through it. And because of that, you see a lot of guilty pleas. I say this all the time, but if you could just sit in and watch it, it's from the first time that we talk, our means of doing business is almost all of these cases we give some sort of a plea offer. And what you're seeing is the people that have rejected that plea offer and that have gone and got a much higher sentence, or gotten at trial and got a real high sentence. So with 10,000 warrants coming in Horry County, I keep repeating this, you can't have 10,000 trials. You just cannot do that. That math doesn't math. You can't do that. Can't do it in Georgetown with 2,000 warrants. So we've got to work out a system where in one courtroom there's pleas going on, and in another courtroom there's trials. So here's some of the outcomes from that last week. You've got Isaac Deshaun Smith, he's 51, from Gallivan's Ferry. This was a plea. It was set to be on the trial roster, but he pled before he went to trial, and that was 15 years. A 51-year-old guy, he will be, in his mid to late 60s by the time he gets out. But that was a plea to possession with intent to distribute meth, possession with intent to distribute fentanyl, and possession of a firearm by a felon, sort of the trifecta. So he got 15 years on that, and that was a plea. Dante Rice, 48, of Myrtle Beach, pled guilty to possession with intent to distribute meth, trafficking in meth. Josh Holford handled that case for us. He got 10 years apiece for those charges, and they're running concurrently. So you might as well say 10 years on Mr. Rice, 48. You got another case of a ton of interest was Charonta Bryant, 30, of Conway. He had a jury trial, and he got life imprisonment for an armed robbery where he stole $200. We had basically 4 witnesses that were going to come in. It was going to be a real quick trial. A lady that had pulled up to a store got robbed at gunpoint. Mr. Bryant's the one that did it. She didn't have any money, so he took her phone and sent a cash app to his girlfriend, and that was pretty easy to track down. So when he pulled back up, the police were standing there waiting on him at his girlfriend's house. 4 witnesses and maybe 5, and he was done for. The jury found him guilty. But because of Mr. Bryant having a prior armed robbery, this was kind of blew up over the internet. What people really aren't picking up on is in South Carolina, we have a 2 strikes law and a 3 strikes law. So if you commit 2 armed robberies, that's most serious offenses. And the second one will get you life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Just like murder, just like, worse than murder, because in murder, that's 30 years to life. But if you've got a prior most serious and you get another most serious, and look, Mr. Bryant pulled 10 years on the other armed robbery. So there was plenty of occasions to learn. He just didn't. Plus he's got a pending murder charge in our office. So he's got life imprisonment, which means that he dies in prison. Of course, he'll start appealing this as soon as he gets up there. Everybody does. We talk about it all the time. But we should be safe from Mr. Bryant for the rest of our life and his, because he has got life on that. It doesn't have as much to do with how much you get, right? Because he's not being punished because it was $200 or $150 or $300 or $3,000 or $300,000. What gets you is putting a gun in somebody's face and the fear and where that could go wrong. And you got a totally innocent victim that's just there trying to do her day to day, and this is his second victim. So that's going to always get you, and that was life imprisonment. Ray Edward Chestnut, 40 of Longs, he also went to trial. That was also 3 witnesses, a day and a half at most. I think it was closer to a day. And he was convicted and got 25 years in prison. Now here's something for you. 25 years because it was his second offense. That's the only sentence the judge could give. Just like with Bryant, the only sentence he could give was life. 25 years is the only sentence that the judge could give, and that was Judge War, because this was his second offense of trafficking fentanyl. And Mr. Chestnut got 25 years. So he's 40 years old. He'll be in his 60s before he gets out. And we talk about this all the time where, and I know this creates a discussion. That's what should happen. We should discuss these things. But for everybody, once you realize that's the only sentence the judge can give, your legislature's the ones that set that up. That's a good thing. That's a tool that goes to the prosecutors, and we're able to use that, and we're able to get some dangerous people off the street. We don't want people that are committing multiple armed robberies walking around, because you never can tell what people will do. But if you've committed 2 armed robberies, there's a possibility that you might commit a 3rd armed robbery. So we don't want that to happen, and it won't happen in these cases. And finally, we had a 15-year sentence on Travis Bromell. He's 36. Mr. Bromell pled guilty. This is a guilty plea, but it was scheduled for trial in August, so he's already come off of that. He got 15 years for an attempted armed robbery, which means he didn't get anything, but he had a weapon, or presented what could have been a weapon, to rob a store employee. And the store employee knew him. We had already worked that up for a trial. August is right around the corner. And going into the month before trial, he said, no, I'm going to go ahead and plead guilty. I don't want what's happened to these other guys. So the judge gave him 15 years on an attempted armed robbery. So 36, 46, he's going to be in his 50s when he gets out. We are just doing motions this week, getting ready for the next week, which will be trials. And we will try to update you on those as soon as those start coming around. Hope you have a great week and stay cool.